Absolutely no crying.
Washington Post is condemned for video urging Americans to set up white accountability groups and force themselves into a period of deep shame over their skin color. Welcome to the Dum Dum News Channel, dedicated to reviewing news stories from around the world. Help me trigger the YouTube algorithm by pressing the thumbs up button, subscribing to my channel, leaving a comment, and sharing with someone you think would like this content. Sources will be linked in the description, so you can read the full details yourself. I couldn't find the exact video they are referring to, because I don't have an account with the Washington Post, but this video I found is just as awful. Be ready to cringe.
It's not a Black person's job to teach white people about racism because they just showed up to the party.
White people in particular associate racism with being kind of the overtly bad acts. But in fact, some of the manifestations of racism that are the most resilient are part of what white people call normal.
It is exhausting to be in this moment and hear from friends or people who are complicit in those microaggressions and those subtle instances of racism that Black people navigate every day.
I experienced it 5 minutes before I got on this call with you.
People all across the United States are probing how we deal with race more critically and incorporating more anti-racism into their everyday lives. But one of the problems we've all come across is white people getting it wrong. So today we're going to tackle why that's happening and how to do better. I'm Nicole Ellis, and this is the new normal. Hopefully.
I have about 70 unread texts right now, and not because I'm avoiding it, but just because I don't have the room for it. I can't answer the same question over and over again.
Tiffany is a professional hairstylist in Austin, Texas, who's been really vocal about her frustration with her white friends, and a lot of Black people agree with her.
We're definitely in a moment where everyone is asking Black and brown people for advice and resources.
Nicole created a racial justice toolkit in 2016 after the shooting death of Philando Castile. But back then, nobody really cared about it.
Really though, now you want to talk about it, when the Black Lives Matter movement started. I felt like that was a whole summer where people were dying, and now we're here again.
I've experienced a lot that I have suppressed my entire life because nobody seemed to care until, what week was it, 2 weeks ago?
Are you going to turn this off after it stops becoming trendy?
I don't know anybody who likes hearing they're bad at something, especially when it comes to racism. But in reality, the only way to truly evolve as an anti-racist is to learn how to take criticism.
You will be checked, and the thing to do is to fight back your defensive reaction, fight back the urge to explain what you really meant. Absolutely no crying. That is experienced as oppressive by people of color who actually have just done you a favor by going out of their way to give you some feedback. There's really a cost-benefit analysis to confronting somebody on one of those. So that person just took a gamble that you're going to rise to the occasion and meet them there.
Once you're over getting checked, take a more critical look at what informs your worldview and why it's so easy to assume that people who don't look like you share your perspective.
White people's idea of normal is actually a cultural context characterized by whiteness. So educating yourself about what whiteness is, where whiteness resides in everyday life, in everyday assumptions, everyday practices, how that results in the living while Black scenarios.
Another great way to educate yourself is to read.
I love to see people taking initiative to educate their friends, put things on the internet. And I keep referring to the internet because it is the biggest source of information that we have.
I want to talk about what performative support is and how to not do that.
People kind of performing the actions that go along with being an ally, but yet there isn't that sort of lifelong look towards changing the way that we are in the world.
I saw a lot of people I know that hadn't said a word, hadn't posted anything before, and I know personally have been racist. And then you want to post a Black square on Blackout Tuesday? Bro, that's not it.
Anything can be performative if you're doing it without commitment and you're doing it without follow-up and you're not doing it as a way of life. What's needed is a new way of life, a new anti-racist way of life, a new normal. So if the first thing you did was post the Black square, and now you're seeing things online like the Black square is superficial and it's performative, just make sure that for you, it's a first step.
And if you're still trying to figure out your next step, start at home.
Part of the problem has been that white people don't talk about these issues. You should always start at home. You should talk to your own white family and friends and community members if you can about all that's going on.
You definitely should be bringing up issues regarding racism, not so much with your Black friends and colleagues who are kind of exhausted right now and they're trying to survive, but in your white networks.
Thinking about this as like a lifelong commitment is really, really important. The struggle is not going to end overnight.
Black people have been surviving racism for their whole life. Just be about doing the work and taking up your role and helping push those movements forward.
We're going to continue to cover stories like this.
In my opinion, this is a bunch of nonsense masked in big words that doesn't actually provide anything useful to the viewer. You will be checked. Don't cry, bite back your words. I think that they are clumping anything they don't like or causes any kind of hardship into the group of racism. People will like you 1 minute and be angry at you the next. I'd argue that it has nothing to do with your skin color. I will say that if people keep pushing this trash, then others will have no choice but to judge others by the color of their skin. Those are my thoughts. What are yours? Leave them in the comments below. Please share this video for education and awareness. For the Dum Dum News Channel, I'm Dum Dum.